Okay, today I'm going to do the corrections for the AMATS Common Test 1 2015, and the first question I'm going to do is question 1, of course. Okay, if we have 3x to the power 3x minus 1 over x squared to the power of x squared to the power of 12. So basically what we have here is that if there is to the power of 12 means that there will be 13 terms. Okay, so for 13 terms you will know that the middle term, okay, the middle is the 7th term. So therefore, question 1, okay, to find the 7th term, alright, I take the t 6 plus 1 term. Okay, or first I write the t r plus 1 term is equals to 12 choose r 3x to the power of 12 minus r, negative 1 over x squared to the power of r. Okay, for the 7th term, right, means I have to rewrite it as t subscript 6 plus 1. So in short, right, my r value is actually equals to 6. So what I write here is 12 choose 6 3x to the power of 12 minus 6 negative 1 over x squared to the power of 6. Then if you start to simplify everything, this should give me 924, this gives me times 729 x to the power of 6. Here's where many of you made the error. Notice that this is an even term, so minus times minus gives you plus, then times another minus, it gives you negative. So if it's even, the power is even, the negative, in the end you should end up with a positive 1 over x to the power of 12, like this. So if you simplify everything, get 673 596 over x to the power of 6, and that quite easily concludes question 1. Now we move on to question 2. Okay, question 2, let's just dive right into it. Cosine a minus b over cosine a plus b is equals to 7 over 3. Straight away just look into your formula sheet. Okay, let's look at the formula sheet. And we use this formula, where is it, this one, we use this formula right here. So what we have is cosine A cosine B plus sine A sine B divided by cosine A cosine B minus sine A sine B is equals to 7 over 3. Then we multiply both sides by 3 and cosine A cosine B minus sine A sine B. What I get is 3 cosine A cosine B plus 3 sine A sine B is equals to 7 cosine A cosine B minus 7 sine A sine B. Okay, then you collect all the terms on one side. Notice that if I collect all my sine A sine B on one side, I get 3 sine A sine B plus 7 sine A sine B, alright, like this, is equals to 7 cosine A cosine B minus 3 cosine A cosine B. So I get is 10 sine A sine B is equals to 4 cosine A cosine B. Then if I divide both sides by cosine A cosine B, what I get is 10 sine A sine B divided by cosine A cosine B is equals to 4. Sine A over cosine A gives me tangent A. Sine B over cosine B gives me tangent B, equals to 4. You divide both sides by 10, you get 4 over 10. And then you just simplify, is equals to 2 over 5. And that's it. It is shown. And that is question 2. Okay, now quickly we move on to question 3. Okay, question 3. Question 3, it says solve the equation. So question 3 is 3 cosine 2x is equals to cosine x minus 1. Straight away what I do here is this, I look again at the formula sheet, okay. Cosine 2a can either be cosine square a minus sine square a, or 2 cosine square a minus 1, or 1 minus 2 sine squared a. In this case, I'll choose 2 cosine square a minus 1 because I want the entire equation to be in terms of only cosine a. So in this case, 3 times 2 cosine square x minus 1. I have applied the double angle formula there, is equals to cosine x minus 1. Then I expand the brackets, I get this. Then next one I get 6 cosine square x minus cosine x minus 2 is equals to 0. This is where you get something like a quadratic equation. So what we have to do is we have to factorize 3 cosine x, and we have 2 cosine x, and 3 2, maybe it is minus 2 plus 1, like this. Okay, then what we get here is 3 cosine x minus 2 equals to 0, or 2 cosine x plus 1 is equals to 0. So what we get here is cosine x is equals to 2/3, or cosine x is equals to negative half. Then if we apply, what we get here is this. Here, if you inverse cosine, okay, you should get your basic angle as 48.2 if I'm not wrong. Okay, let me just try. Inverse cosine of 2 over 3 is 48.189. And notice in this case that because cosine is positive, so what we get is in the first quadrant 48.189 degrees. ASTC is also in the third quadrant. But in the end, because if you read the question actually says we want it between 0 to 180 degrees, so my x value in this case is 48.2 degrees only. Similarly down here, okay, please ignore the negative sign because the negative sign is used to place the angle. So all you do is inverse cosine of half, you get 60 degrees. My basic angle is 60 degrees, so what happens here is my cosine is negative. Negative means that it's placed into the second quadrant and third quadrant. 60 degrees, 60 degrees. This angle here will give me x equals to 120 degrees. The other angle I do not care is 240 degrees because the question tells us to solve for x between 0 and 180 degrees. So therefore x is equals to 48.2 degrees and 120 degrees.